Alright, what's up everybody? It's Carl's Collects Comics and welcome back to another Top 10 list that's a Friday feature here on the channel. This week I'm going to be talking about the top 10 Nova comics that you should buy now, so stay tuned. Alright, so yeah, as I promised, one of my favorite characters from back in the day, Nova, was just announced as getting his own streaming property, or his own property. We don't know if it's a film or a streaming series yet, but it has been announced and confirmed in the industry trades, and I'm very excited about this. Now, we don't know a whole lot about it, but a lot of people, including myself, are betting that it's going to be a older and younger kind of space cop type dynamic between Richard Rider, the original Nova, and Sam Alexander, the newer, younger Nova, who is, he had caught my attention for my Hispanic Superhero collection. So I've been picking up Nova books throughout this, and I'll tell you about a couple of the fun finds that I had that I hope you can get out there and find, because I don't think people are as familiar with the Sam Alexander books other than his first appearance. So hey, this is the top 10 list for the top 10 Nova comics that you should buy right now. Before I get started on it, I want to encourage you, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure and hit that subscribe button right now. And then, but here we go. Let's go ahead and get started with it. Number 10 on my list is Nova number 11, Volume 6. All right, this is the first meeting between Sam Alexander and Richard Rider. Now, while this may not factor much into how the character or characters are presented in the MCU, it's still an affordably priced book worth picking up for fans of the character, whether you're a new fan or an old fan. Additionally, we've seen key story moments from the comics become a big deal due to their occurrence in the movies. Biggest couple of examples of that right off the top of my head is when Cap picked up Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. Another one was when Iron Man wore the Iron Man version of the Infinity Gauntlet. We saw those books spike in value and price when it occurred in the actual film. So, moving on, number 9 on my list is Nova number 1 from Volume 5, Cover A. This is the first ongoing solo series for the Sam Alexander iteration of Nova. It's also the first appearance of Jesse and Eva, his parents, and his sister Kaylin. This is really the beginning of building out the Sam Alexander character, his life, and his supporting cast. It's a vastly underrated key book if your interest is piqued by the Nova character, but you better grab it quick because, as we all know, yesterday's price is not today's price. Alright, number 8 on my list is Nova number 1 from the same volume, Volume 5, but this is the 1 in 50 ratio variant by Marcus Martin. This is the same book as number 9 on my list, but a ratio variant and a high one at that. When I purchased my copy, which you see here on the shelf behind me, I didn't even realize what it was. I just knew that it was a Nova number 1. It was, only that it was a first issue for one of the Hispanic superheroes that I was focused on at that time. I ended up buying it for just a few bucks, literally cover price from a back issue bin at a local comic shop. Come to find out, it's easily a $50 book, and what an amazing cover. The depiction of Sam Alexander rocketing for the stars as the new Nova is iconic and minimal. Definitely worth picking up if you can find a deal on it. Like I did with mine. And again, like I said, it was one of those happy accident finds that we all have when we're digging through the back issue bins. That's why it's worth it to dig in those back issue bins. And not just on the days that there's a big sale at your local comic shop, but really anytime that you pop in, spend 15-20 minutes, pick a section, and just go through, and you never know what you'll find. And always remember, be looking where nobody else is looking. So if something just got announced, you can be pretty sure that that section will have been cleared out already. Moving on, number 7 on my list is Nova number 1, volume 5, still the same volume, but the second print. Now I've found, and we've started to see this play out all across all of these new Marvel character releases during this time period, that if you have a second printing, this blue bar means green. The first prints can settle around $20, but these much smaller print run second prints can hit double, triple, and quadruple the value of the first print, definitely without even breaking a sweat. And it comes back around to scarcity, one of the key factors in determining value for collectibles. Limited print runs means higher values, hence this being one of my recommended books for this title. In fact, as you'll notice, it ranks higher on my list than the first print of number 1 does, or even the 1 in 50 ratio variant. Again, because it comes back down to scarcity. Number 6 on my list is Nova number 1, volume 5, same volume. This is the Comics Pro Sketch variant, and it was limited to 400 copies only. On most top 10 lists, I try to include books for every price range that you might not have noticed yet. So this is definitely a higher priced book, but it's not attainable. I've seen at least one copy listed on eBay for $350 at the time of this recording, but here's what makes this book worth considering at that price. It is still Sam Alexander's first solo ongoing series, so it's a key book for the character. It is also by far going to be one of, if not the most scarce Sam Alexander book that you can purchase. Scarcity, again, is a key factor with collectibles, and that's what drives prices up. So if there's only 400 copies in existence, and the demand for Nova books continues to heat up, and then the property debuts in a few years, whether it's through a streaming series or a feature film, and we already know that the Nova character is popular and people want to see him come to the big screen or the streaming screen, the price is going to continue to climb for this book, especially in high grade. So it's just something worth considering if you can afford to take a flyer on a $350-ish book. It's a small buy-in if the character becomes popular and more mainstream and the value hits 1,000 or more. So just something to think about. Not telling you to go out and buy a $350 book on the spec that it would go up in value. I'm just saying it is, I think, the most scarce Sam Alexander Nova key book that is in existence. Number 5 on my list is Fantastic Four number 205. This is the first team appearance of the Nova Corps. Now there's sure to be a renewed focus on the entire Nova Corps as previously seen in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. It's a great Marvel counterpoint to the Green Lantern Corps, and the idea of an intergalactic police force is just such a cool premise. There's so many different directions you can go with it, and so much rich backstory that we could explore in that franchise. Number 4 on my list is Nova number 2 from volume 1. This is the very first volume of Nova. Alright, it is the second appearance of the Richard Rider Nova. This is a vastly underpriced book as the second appearance of the Legacy Nova, as well as the first appearances of Condor and Powerhouse. We all know how popular Powerhouse is, because we all remember them. Number 3 on my list is Marvel .1, number 1, cover A. You know with me, it's always all about the cover A. This book is the first appearance of the Sam Alexander iteration of Nova, so it is a must-have ahead of the upcoming MCU debut. Be aware, this book has 2 variants, the Nick Bradshaw variant wraparound and the 1 in 100 ratio, the Nick Bradshaw sketch variant. With Marvel diversifying its lineup of characters and expanding the MCU into all types of genres, this book will become a major key in the years to come. While it is highly recommended that you also get a Nova number 1, this first appearance is also important, and the only reason it's at number 3 is to make room for the Bradshaw variant, and because Nova number 1 was the origination of the superhero identity of Nova. Now I believe that this is going to become a bigger and bigger key as time goes on, especially because it's also the introduction of the alternate universe Doctor Strange, known as Defender Strange. A character with the same design has shown up in the trailer for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but the film hasn't debuted as of the time of this recording. So it could be nothing. But I still think that this book is incredibly important because of the introduction of Sam Alexander, the recent and current iteration of Nova. Now I've picked up my copy because Sam Alexander is of Hispanic descent, so he's part of my Hispanic Superheroes Wing for my personal collection. So for me, it made sense to stock up on this character's book, regardless of whether or not he made a debut in the MCU. So I had mine well before the announcement, back when the book had been on a dip. Number 2 on my list is Marvel .1 number 1, the Nick Bradshaw variant cover. So I love this cover art, so I put it at the number 2 spot, but also because it's a good middle ground between the 1 in 100 sketch cover and the cover A. It's definitely a more affordable priced book, and it's well worth picking up right now because it's a fantastic wraparound cover, and I enjoy my copy of it that I've got back there, back over my shoulder. So great book, excellent spec to pick up, and still I think probably reasonably priced, as long as you're not trying for a 9.8. We all know that 9.8s can be incredibly inflated in value. I'm not saying that it's not real value, I'm just saying that for the average collector, unless you got the book raw and hit a 9.8, a lot of us aren't going to go out and buy a pre-slabbed 9.8. So here we are. Number 1 on my list is Nova number 1, of course, from Volume 1. So this is the first appearance and origin of Richard Rider, aka Nova. Also, it's the first appearance of Roman Day, who's a Nova Corps member, and Robbie Rider, Richard's brother. Alright, now I love first issues like this. The first appearance, the first cover appearance, and the origin of the character, all rolled up in one. There's no question about the first appearance. There's no, the 180 versus 181, the Gambit first appearance, all the different, all these scattered first appearances and multiple cameos, and all that kind of stuff. It's fun to watch people argue about it online, but it's confusing, and it really is. But books like this make it simple and easy, and there's no question in anybody's mind that the first appearance of Nova all the way around and origin is all in Nova number 1. Makes it nice, clean, and simple. Alright, so for fans new and old of the Nova character, this is a major book to have. In fact, out of all the Nova books, excluding the very high priced variants, out of all the Nova books, this is probably the main book to pick up. So if you're a Nova fan, the good news is that this book had seen a little bit of a dip before the announcement. Now I'm sure people are going to add on prices, but there's plenty of room to grow. It is not by any stretch of the imagination a scarce book, because you can always find copies of it in a lot of claim sales or auctions, or so you can find copies of it out there. So I would suggest go look for a copy that fits within your budget. Don't buy slabbed, buy raw, and you can add it to your collection for probably under $200 still at this point as of the recording of this video. Now, while it doesn't feature Sam Alexander, it is the beginning of this superhero identity. And I would tell you this, that the announcement sent the book spiking, but sent a lot of these books spiking, but you can still find them in back issue bins because a lot of especially bigger local comic shops don't have the time or staff to go through, and so if you're looking to add this to your collection, you can go dig through and you can probably find yourself a few fun books. I also know of some local comic shops that will do brick deals, including people online. You can get the entire first run of Nova, like all of it, for $400 to $500 in good condition. And so that's something to consider about if you say, hey, I'm a Nova fan and I'm not as big on, you know, hunting and piecing together a run, so I'd rather just buy the whole thing at once. That you've always got that option. So hey, I hope this top 10 list for Nova comics you should buy now was helpful to you. I hope that this helps you build up your collection. If you're a new collector, make sure and check out my 4-part video series, Comic Collecting for Beginners. There's a lot of hints and tips built into those to help you get started, especially if this is one of your favorite characters or you heard something about it and you want to explore more and start to build your first collection around this character. It's a great one. It's always been one of my the most fun characters that I've gotten a chance to see grow and develop and evolve over the years. So I hope that you get some enjoyment out of this. As always, make sure to like this video. Make sure to leave a comment below and let me know, were there any Nova keys that you were surprised that I included? Or were there any Nova keys that you feel like I left out? Also, you could leave a comment also saying, what was Cinnamon the dog going berserk about in the background during part of the top 10 list? And I'll let you know, because I'm just going to leave that in there. You can hear her barking in the background, but leave a comment and ask me what it was, because I'm going to go down there and see what she was getting onto in just a few minutes after I stop recording. But hey, leave that comment, really anything, just to communicate. I will always answer back any of the comments that you take the time to leave. I'll take the time to honor your interactivity and get back with you about it. Also, if you haven't yet, make sure and subscribe to the channel. It's a tremendous help for the big push to 1,000 subscribers. We're over 700 as of the recording of this video. We've got our 750 subscriber giveaway right around the corner. Again, as of the recording of this video. But guess what? Even if we've broken it and done the giveaway by the time you watch this video and find it, there's still going to be plenty of giveaways and fun stuff going on the channel. So it's well worth subscribing and hitting that notification bell. I'm Carl's Collects Comics, and I've enjoyed spending this time with you. I can't wait to see you next time. Keep collecting those comics.